Here's a provocative question for you. Who in your relationship owns the finances? Is it you? Is it your partner? Maybe it's neither of you and you like to just risk it and see how much money you have left at the end of the month. For me in my marriage, it's me, and I'm going to explain why that is the case and what the benefits are. And if you see any benefits or any drawbacks, feel free to leave comments at the end of the video. Now, the reason that I own the finances is not because I'm the most capable, because frankly, I think my wife could manage them just as well or better than I do. It is that one person, we believe that one person should own the finances, and that person has particular responsibilities. In my case, I have to track how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, and I have to balance that against our goals, our family goals. Now, there's a lot of different pieces to financial plans, right? There's a lot of different pieces. It can get very complicated. Here's a reason why I don't think you should have two people managing or owning the finances. If you have one balance and you have shared bills such as gas bill, electricity bill, phone bill, and you have one person paying the gas bill, one person paying the phone bill, you guys have to communicate. You're literally setting yourselves up for failure. You have to communicate all the time to be able to keep in sync, right? It's like it's two brains doing one fairly straightforward, simple task. And you're just setting yourselves up for something to fail that is going to create grief, resentment. You know, unless you're a robot. Maybe you're a robot, I don't know. But most people in financial situations, when you get into these financial hardships, if you're both owning it, you'll blame each other. Now, the advantage to one person owning it is that person knows how much money is coming in, how much is going out, and if something goes wrong, it's really on them. So if a bill doesn't get paid because I didn't make sure there was enough money, I can't blame my wife. That's my responsibility, right? She's trusting me to manage our money correctly. Now, that doesn't mean, right, just because she's trusting me doesn't mean that she doesn't know what's happening. Part of my responsibility is to be able to show her 1,000-foot view. This is our money. This is how much money we have coming in this year, next year, the year after. Obviously, that's kind of a prediction. Here's how much money we're going to spend. Here's the money we can kind of shift around. And I should also be able to show her in detail in June of 2021, here is our remaining cash balance at the end of the month. I should be able to answer those questions to her if I am managing our money correctly. Now, the reason that that's also important, and the reason that we have it set up this way, is because my wife is particularly good or maybe passionate about setting up kids' extracurricular activities or booking vacations and things like that. Now, I like to do those things, but she's good at booking those things. You know, I think I could do it, but we all have our strong suits, right? And so a lot of the time, she'll come to me and say, "I want to do a big vacation in July. I want to put the kids into karate in May. Do we have money for that?" And I'll look at the financial plan and say, "No, we have no money." That's usually the case. But maybe we can shift this over here and we can make a little money, a little cash flow. Maybe we can spend a little less on groceries this month to make that possible. And so it's not that she's asking me for permission. It's just that she has a question, right? And she's asking me because I've spent the time studying it. I know everything that's going on. I have the big picture in my head. She doesn't need to waste her time figuring out that big picture. The roles could be reversed. It doesn't matter. So here's how we manage our finances. At least this is what I do. And maybe this will be useful to somebody. I don't know. But I take every month, okay, January through December, and I start with the money that I have coming in. which is pretty much paychecks, right? You might have some other things. Excuse me. Always coughing in these videos. Pretty much everyone's going to have paychecks if you're managing money. So you start with your paycheck. And then I throw in there the bills that I know I'm going to have to pay. You may have a mortgage, rent, car insurance, whatever you have, you've got to make sure you're accounting for. Okay? You've also got to account for spending money. Now, my wife and I both had previous marriages, and when we got together, she was very hesitant to actually join our finances into a joint account. She didn't have a good experience with that before. And that's understandable, right? And so my question to her was, how much money do you need to feel as though you're good? Like, here's your spending money. Spend it. I'm never going to ask what you spend it on. And so she came up with a number, and we made an agreement that every paycheck we would take this amount of money, right? And we would take that money and we would put it into her personal account. And inside of her personal account, she doesn't pay for gas, doesn't pay for groceries, doesn't pay for bills. The personal account is just spending money. So if she wants to go to Rite Aid and spend $200 on whatever she's going to spend money on, she can do that. I'm not going to judge her. I'm not going to feel frustrated because I've already written that money off. Now, the other side of that is that I have an equal amount of money. That's just the way we decided to do it. What is left is the money that you have. And it's the money you have left to pay the bills, right? Or to invest or to save or whatever you want to do with it. It's money that you're not just writing off for random crap. So that money that you have left should really be treated more like a business. You should know what's happening. Maybe you get paid weekly, and sometimes I think weekly is easier. If you get paid weekly and you get $500, right? I don't know, arbitrary amount. Do you take that money and say, I'm going to set aside $200 for rent, $100 for some random bills, $100 for spending money, and $100 for groceries? There's not a lot of room in there, but you have to set those amounts, right? So when you go to the store and you have $100 you set aside for groceries, you can say, this is the amount that I set aside out of that money. It would be a good decision to just withdraw that money and have it in your hand and use it, because otherwise you end up with lots of random transactions on the account. So you can think of that when you're taking money out of the account and putting it into your partner's account or your account, or if you're taking money out and putting it towards a predefined expenditure such as groceries or gas, you can think of that as disbursements. You're actually dispersing money for something that you're not tracking. Like when I take $100 of grocery money, I'm taking it and saying, boom, here's $100 of grocery money. That's how I'm recording it. I'm not recording that I bought cornflakes or Oreos or milk. I'm not recording in that detail. I'm just saying that out of the however much money that I had in my joint account, I'm taking $100 and putting it toward this. I don't need a level of granularity that tells me what I bought with the grocery money. Maybe I can look at that sometime, but I don't need it. And I don't want to waste my time doing that. And so that's essentially what we do. Big joint account, all the money goes in there. We disperse the money into different things. Our personal accounts for personal spending money, groceries, and whatever else you have. And we've been doing this now for several years. And truly, it has helped so much. And every year, we've gotten more and more on the same page as to what's going on. And it's really helped our marriage. She has a great understanding of what our goals are financially, and I have a good understanding as well. But she also can see the debts that we're paying off and has like realistic expectations. And I think that's very important to have in a relationship. And, I quite truly believe that many, many divorces are caused by financial problems. Not really the financial problems themselves, but just the lack of understanding in managing them. So I'd be really curious to see what you guys think. How do you manage the money in your relationship? Maybe you do something similar to what we do, and or maybe you do something completely different, or maybe you just throw caution to the wind. I'd love to know that too. So feel free to leave a comment, like the video if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.